Hi everyone. Good morning, Kat here. Well, good morning to me. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you're watching this. So, today I want to show you a systematic way of analyzing email. If you've ever seen those teardowns, right? Doesn't have to be email, landing pages, home pages, websites, ads, type of teardowns. You know how it goes. You've seen something like this. A professional goes in, takes a look at the marketing collateral. They point the stuff that's good, the stuff that's not so good, and their suggestions for changes, right? And the funny thing is, if you put two different professionals to take a look at the same thing, they would have more likely than not different opinions on how that thing goes, right? And if you ever find yourself in that situation, who do you listen to, right? So what do you do? So this method kind of helps eliminate that because there is a systematic way of looking at things. We minimize a lot of personal opinions. I mean, we're human. We'll always have that personal bias, opinions, especially if we know the brand type of thing. Excuse me. If you had a positive or negative experience with them. So we have a lot of bias. So that's not completely going to go away, but there is a way to minimize that. And that's what I want to show you. Cool. And by the end of the video, you'll learn how to do that. And you can use the skill primarily two things. Number one, if you're studying emails, doesn't matter if you're new or if you're doing this a while. I've been doing this for a while, and I still study emails a whole lot. Borderline obsessed with this, but it also helps you really hone in and develop that eye for a great email. And if you're offering this as a service, for example, for an audit, this is great to show your client that you know what you're talking about, that you're just not flying off the seat of your pants saying whatever just to drive your point, but you have a systematic way of doing things standardized across the board. And this will help you kind of just really show your expertise again. And also, if you're trying to advocate for a specific change in the company, this is a good way to do that. It's like, hey, I took a look at all these emails, look at XYZ, and here's what I found, and there's a number of value to it too at the end of the day. So it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna do one today. Actually, I'm gonna do a sample on how to do this, just to show you how we get it done. And I want to do this every day too. But first, let's do this first one. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So let me close this, move this window, and so I can show you the scorecard that I'm going to be using. So you'll see here it's the same. So great ecom email, and the criteria is right here. So I just want to go over this criteria just so it's clear what I mean. I mean by cohesive branding, clean design, copy, right? So let's do that before we start using the scorecard. Branding. Ideally, in the legal world, compliant world, if you're on a company's email list, it's because you're asked to be there. Either you signed up or you did business with them. But you can't. You were in contact with them, maybe through their website, an ad, social. You came from there. You signed up. You got their emails. You clicked. Ideally, that whole thing, like that whole journey, has a very cohesive branding look, right? So, for example, if you went to a website, super colorful, neon colors, very irreverent, right? They're dropping F bombs left and right, right? So I'm like, cool, I like this vibe. I'll give you my email. You click, they send you an email, and it's plain and it's so formal. It's weird, right? It's a little bit of digital whiplash. Really, it's like, wait, what's going on? It's very different than from when I first saw them. And then let's say you click on the email, and this time it's colorful, but it's not the same colors and a different voice branding type of thing. That's not cohesive branding. What you want is to it to be as cohesive as possible. It doesn't need to be like just the same look across the board. If you go on really good emails, look up Magic Spoon. If you look at their emails, wildly different from each other, but it's still on brand. It's magical. They're a master class in email marketing. Really, I love them. But anyway, excuse me. By the way, allergies. There we go. So so it just has to have that cohesiveness. And I'm gonna show it to you later. And the more you do this, the more you're gonna feel for it. But it's pretty simple. Next, design. Now, personally, I like big pops of color. Give me yellows and greens and pinks, and just like big bold colors. but it doesn't always have to be like that, right? And when we hear design, that's all we think of, right? It's like the way it looks, which is a big factor specifically for e-commerce emails, right? We love those pictures, but it has to be relevant. It has to be on brand, obviously. And it's not just the looks. If you look at the way they arrange copy, for example, if there's a lot of copy in that email, is it easily scannable for me? If they have a lot of plain text, is it all left aligned instead of center aligned, type of thing, right? The design has to support the overall mission of that email. Usually it's to sell, sometimes it's to engage, but at the end of the day, you kind of want to judge if it's doing the job or if it's distracting away from its purpose, right? Or it's not doing its job at all, right? Cool. Number 3 and 4, copy and CTA, closely related, right? So the copy, I want it personalized. I want it to feel like it was written for me as much as possible, right? I know some companies have the resources to do this, some don't. Limited resources, limited time, but just try your best. Just don't give up. Don't batch and blast. Segment, right? Past purchase behavior. Check that out. See if it's relevant to me. And if you have quizzes on your website, I've freely given you data, zero party data. Use that to your advantage. So I'm going to take a look at copy and see if it's if it does the job that it's supposed to do. You can be clever, you can be cute, right? You can do all these puns, but at the end of the day, clarity over everything. So I'm going to take a look at that too. And then CTA, rule of one is big, right? When there's a CTA in the email, I want it to be just one. Ask me for just one thing. Do just one thing. It's not literally just one button with one thing. It can be a long email with multiple CTAs on there. But so long as you're asking me to do one thing and go to the same place, then we're good. So, for example, if I'm running a big sale, at the top you can the primary CTA could be shop the sale, and then right next to it, the next section, it could be you know get your 40% discount, and then the next one would be don't miss out on the biggest sale of the year, type of thing. So different CTAs, different copy, but they're all asking me to do the same thing. Go to the website because there's a big sale coming, or there's a big sale happening, so you gotta buy now, type of thing, right? So we're looking at that. Sometimes you kind of can't avoid, especially if you're working with a client and they're asking you to do a couple things. We want to do XYZ on the email. That's where design comes in, right? So if there's you have no choice but to put a couple things in there, that's when hierarchy comes in. Kind of like the primary CTA, the primary heading and everything would have the most prominent place in the emails. Everything else would be secondary. So we're going to take a look at that as well. And then number 5 is unsubscribe. Very important, right? If the person doesn't want to be on your list anymore, let them go. They're annoyed, they don't have time, or both. Maybe they just don't need your product anymore. They've moved on. But at the end of the day, they're costing you metrics, they're costing you money. It's not worth keeping there when they don't want to be there, right? If they come back, then they're yours again to sell to. Cool? Awesome. It's a big deal. If nothing else, be compliant. Um, Accessibility. This is something that I want to cover in the future, right? Like, do you have alt texts in your images? Do you have, is your email great for voiceovers type of thing? I'd love to cover that. I don't have that in my setup yet, but in the future, I'd love to. That said, an accessible email, in my mind, is an exceptional email. It's because if you took the time to make your email accessible, more likely than not, you took the time to take a look at everything else, to take care of everything else. So that's that. Now, so for every one of them, like right here, there is a score. So I would take a look at an email and give it a score between 0, 1, and 2. 0, right? So if, right there, I kind of switched places. So here's the deal with this, right? So for every one of them, I would take a look in the email. And then with every element, I'm going to give it a score 0, 1, or 2. 0, if it's not there, it's a completely missing. 1 is it's there, but it's not doing its job. and needs a lot of help. And two is it's there, it's doing a great job. It says this, right? So if you can see five, and if I score two for each one, which means it has all these right elements, I get a 10 out of 10 email. You can kind of tell, okay, that's a good email, right? Uh, but if it's sort of like, let's say it's a 7, 8 out of 10, you're like, hey, we got a good email. I just need some tweaks here and there. And if I have like a 5 or below email, that email is trouble. It needs a lot of work. Cool. So we're going to do that now. So let's see. Let me do this right here. A caveat. Two things, actually. Not caveat, but two things to take note of. The first one is this: credit where credit is due. I learned the system from a copywriting course that I took many moons ago. It's for a landing page or a sales page or landing page copywriting course by Momoko Price on CXL Institute. Now, it's not exactly the same, but I copied the system and adapted it to email. So, um, big kudos to them for creating this. And the second thing is this: um, this is all an educated hypothesis, is what I would say. I'm looking at these emails on its face value. I'm going to take a look at an email on really good emails. This was not sent to me. I may not be the target audience, right? And I don't have access to their metrics. So I could be looking at an email and say, this is 10 out of 10. This is perfect as everything. But it might turn out that it didn't make the company any money. Well, at the same, on the inverse, you have an email that I was like, oh, this is an email, it's 4 out of 10. It's not that good. It's not good at all. But it made the company $20 million, right? So that's a little different. So just remember, it's on the face value. We're just kind of like really trying to learn as much as possible about emails. It's not so much as best practices, but more on the first principles, like, CTA, have rule of one CTA, because psychologically wise, right, people don't like too many choices type of thing. You kind of have to tell them what to do, type of concept. Cool. Awesome. So let's do this. Let's get started. I'm talking too much. I don't know how many minutes have gone. So I'm here on really good emails. Let me close this. And let's refresh this if there's any new ones. Let's pick an email. I haven't seen whichever email we're going to take a look at. I haven't seen it before. So let's click on this one. Yeah. See, view email. Haha. From a company called Heston. Okay, I've never heard of them before. And so let's go for it. I like this email. Where do I put this face? All right. Move that face away. Cool. It's a company called Heston. Let's look them up. Heston. Okay. I don't know anything about them. It says Heston Culinary. So what they are, home.heston.com. Okay, cool. There you go. I think we got this the right one. Esta. There's a lot going on. Let me just kind of expand this so I can see. It's beautiful. Imagine you lived here. Look at that. The beach is right there. Craftsmanship. Okay, so I'm just getting a feel for how it looks. The language that they use. Unveiling. Learn more. Smart gas on fire range. Cool. So it's semi-formal, right? Or, well, pretty formal, but not fuddy-duddy. So heavy-duty entertaining. That's pretty cool. All right, Campania pizza oven. This is beautiful. Love the website. Of course, you have Keller there. Cool. So I'm getting a feel for their language, for their branding. You look at a couple of things and kind of start understanding who they are, even just on a pretty surface level way. Okay. So yeah, so branding is there, the image, great imagery is there, colors consistent. So, if I had gone to their website and signed up there, and if I clicked on this and I went to the website, I would say it's pretty cohesive, right? So let's give that a 2, right? And this could change right away, but as I go through the email, um, it could turn 1 or 2 as I kind of get a better understanding. Cool. So clean design, um, branding there, no nav anything. Okay, some brands do. It's worth testing, right? Adding a thing here too if they haven't yet. Image, a Heston gift card makes it easy to choose. Still looking. Okay, it's a little center aligned, happy-ish, but it's only a couple of lines, and that's fine. Shop gift card, gift card, need a gift card. Cool. Ooh, there's a lot going on. Um, I mean, the design looks great. I would honestly, because we're looking at a gift card. Sorry, I'm just going back and forth. See, let me take a look first. So we have this about the gift card, right? For this gift card, you have lifetime warranty. Okay, cool. I like these little things because it tells you a lot, right? Just by skimming on them. And then there's social there. And then there's a lot of things down here. This gets busy. This all nice and clean. And then you go here, it's like bam, bam, bam. I don't know how far people go with their emails, how far down. But there's so much going on here. I'm like, what is this for? I guess it's like a nav, like you click on something, or no, not really. But I don't know. I actually know. I can't click on it. I would say I would give it a 1. I would say why. Not just because I find this busy. It's the footer ish, so it's not as prominent, but because it's for a gift card, I would put this part. I mean, this is well done. There's the image of the food and the product, and there's a gift card. So make it clear that you're selling a gift card, right? Cool. So that's what I think. Just switch it around so that it's clear what you're just showing people. Because I open this and I'm thinking, are they selling me this beautiful pen? Actually, I want it, but that's not the point, right? It's tell people what it is, right? Cool. So I'll give that a 1. And my notes would be, yeah, just add a hero image there with the gift card on it. Cool. Let's go with the copy. Subject line is for the father that has it all. Okay. A Heston gift card makes it easy to choose. Still looking for the perfect Father's gift? Make it easy with instant Heston gift card. Shop gift card. Okay. And then, okay, we'll have fun shopping our side and it'll be filled with sports guaranteed. Again, great copy. And again, I just feel like you should put the information up here. I mean, it's pretty clear, right? For the father that has it all. See, the father that has it all. And I opened this. I would have liked to see it. I mean, sometimes it could be literal, like I wanted to see dad cooking on this thing. And if not, um, see this headline right here, say something about Father's Day. Just because when, a subject line is sort of a promise. If I see it in my inbox and I read out it for the father that has it all and I click on it and I see this and this after the image is the first thing I see, I would ask myself, what about the father stuff? What about it? Right? You kind of want to match, not kind of, you do want the subject line to match your hero copy right off the bat. It doesn't have to be completely the same. It doesn't have to be verbatim. But if you could say, instead of this, you could switch it at the top. Still looking for the perfect Father's Day gift. Just so I could make a connection like Father's Day. But here it's sort of like a hesitant gift card, I guess, for my dad. I mean, people, we're not going to treat them like they're stupid, but at the same time, make it easy for them. So that's one thing. Yeah, that's very much it. And, there's a lot of information here. Then again, this is like a fine print type of thing, sort of like we're going to do a dollar value. Okay, but that's fine. I guess it's going to stay here. And I just add more info here, make this Father's Day gift. I would say a one because I mean, it did tell the story. But I would say hero and subject. And hero, kind of a little disconnect there. I think it's a big one for me. CTA, moving on. Shop gift card, purchase gift card. Perfect. It's likely going to take me, I'm assuming if I click on this, I will go to their page where they're selling gift cards right here. Somewhere in here. I hope so. Right? So is that how there's so much? Okay, there's so much going on here. But anyway, yeah, if I'm assuming that's what it is, so I'm gonna give their CTA a 2. Cool. And then now let's take a look at their unsubscribe. Scroll down. No longer want to receive these emails. Unsubscribe. Ideally, fully when I click on this, it's a one-click thing. Company name, business address, perfect. That's all I'm looking for, right? And it's a big deal because you'd be surprised how many of these companies don't do it. Awesome. So we kind of like took a look already at everything, and it's the score is 8 out of 10. So I'd have to say we have a pretty good email, right? And I would take a look at this, and I would say, okay, it's a 1. And if you kind of add an image here of the gift card just to communicate right away of what you're going for, and you switch this up a little bit to say Father's Day, I think we'll have a 10 out of 10 email, right? Cool. And that was fun. So that's the end of our first um, analysis, really. Had I just seen this and did not kind of evaluate it, I would have thought, hey, this is a great email. You know what? I would put this up on Twitter and tell everybody, hey, here's a great email, right? But just because I didn't take a closer look, I would just take a look at a quick skim. But if you do take just a little bit closer look, you'll find big, not glaring, but pretty obvious changes that needs to be done. Um, you would if you take just a little bit of a closer look instead of just skimming it. So it's good to do this every now and then. And yeah, hopefully this was helpful to you. I hope that you'll find a good use case for this for you. Um, and if you have any questions, you know where to find me. I'm always in Twitter if anything. Cool. Thank you everybody for watching. Bye bye.